Good day everyone! I am Mary J. Iragudo, a second-year Bachelor of Elementary Education student, and I am back with another video talking about the two assessment strategies for science, namely using performance tasks and designing learning portfolios. So, without further ado, let us now begin our discussion. First is using performance task. So each refers to any learning activity or assessment that asks students to perform to demonstrate their knowledge, understanding, and proficiency. Performance tasks yield a tangible product and or performance that serve as evidence of learning. Unlike a selected response item that asks students to select from given alternatives, a performance task presents a situation that calls for learners to apply their learning in context. Performance-based learning is when students participate in performing tasks or activities that are meaningful and engaging. The purpose of this kind of learning is to help students acquire and apply knowledge, practice skills, and develop independent and collaborative work habits. The culminating activity or product for performance-based learning is one that lets a student demonstrate evidence of understanding through a transfer of skills. Also, there are learning standards in each discipline that set academic expectations and define what is proficient in meeting that standard. Performance-based activities can integrate two or more subjects and should also meet 21st century expectations whenever possible. Creativity and innovation, critical thinking and problem solving, communication and collaboration. There are also information literacy standards and media literacy standards that require performance-based learning. Above all, we need to have a clear expectations. Performance-based activities can be challenging for students to complete. They need to understand from the beginning exactly what is being asked of them and how they will assess. Examples and models may help, but it is more important to provide detailed criteria that will be used to assess this performance-based assessment. All criteria should be addressed in a scoring rubric. Observations are an important component and can be used to provide students with feedback to improve performance. Teachers and students can both use observations. There may be peer-to-peer student feedback. There could be a checklist or a tally to record student achievement. So the goal of performance-based learning should be to enhance what the students have learned, not just have them recall facts. The following 6 types of activities provide good starting points for assessments in performance-based learning. First is presentations. One easy way to have students complete a performance-based activity is to have them to do a presentation or report of some kind. This activity could be done by students, which takes time, or in collaborative groups. The basis for the presentation may be one of the following. Take note: providing information, teaching a skill, reporting progress, persuading others. Students may choose to add in visual aids or a PowerPoint, Google Slides to help illustrate elements in their speech. Presentations work well across the curriculum as long as there is a clear set of expectations for students to work with from the beginning. Second are portfolios. Student portfolios can include items that students have created and collected over a period of time. Another example is when students create a portfolio of their written work that shows how they have progressed from the beginning to the end of class. The writing in a portfolio can be from any discipline or a combination of disciplines. Some teachers have students select those items they feel represents their best work to be included in a portfolio. The benefit of an activity like this is that it is something that grows over time and is therefore not just completed and forgotten. A portfolio can provide students with a lasting selection of artifacts that they can use later in their academic career. Reflections may be included in student portfolios in which students may make a note of their growth based on the materials in the portfolio. The third one is the performances. Dramatic performances are one kind of collaborative activities that can be used as a performance-based assessment. Students can create, can perform, or provide a critical response. Examples include dance, recital, dramatic, and enactment. There may be prose or poetry interpretation. This form of performance-based assessment can take time, so there must be a clear pacing guide. Students must be provided time to address the demands of the activity. Resources must be readily available and meet all safety standards. Students should have opportunities to draft stage work and practice. Developing the criteria and the rubric of sharing this with students before evaluating a dramatic performance is critical. Fourth one, projects. Projects are commonly used by teachers as performance-based activities. They can include everything from research papers to artistic representations of information learned. Projects may require students to apply their knowledge and skills while completing the assigned task. They can be aligned with the higher levels of creativity, analysis, and synthesis. Students might be asked to complete reports, diagrams, and maps. Teachers can also choose to have students work individually or in groups. Journals may be part of performance-based assessment. Journals can be used to record student reflections. Teachers may require students to complete journal entries. Some teachers may use journals as a way to record participation. Teachers can expand the idea of performance-based activities by creating exhibits or fairs for students to display their work. Examples include things like history fairs, science fair, math fairs, and students work on a product or item that will exhibited publicly. Especially in science, we also have many experimentations. Exhibitions show in-depth learning and may include feedback from viewers. In some cases, students might be required to explain or defend their work to those attending the exhibition. Some fairs, like science fairs, could include the possibility of prizes and awards. The benefit of using performance tasks is that students who are more actively involved in the learning process absorb and understand the material at a much deeper level. Other characteristics include that they are complex and time-bound. So those are some of the examples of performance task activities that we can use in teaching science in the elementary grades. Since we're already done with the first part, which talks about using performance tasks, we will proceed to the second one, which is all about designing learning portfolios. But before that, let us first define what is portfolio. So portfolio, an assessment, a detailed, unique, and personalized evaluation of what the learners know and can do. It is a collection of pieces of evidence, efforts, learning, development, growth, and achievements. It also emphasizes learner's milestone in his or her development of concepts and skills. It contains not only an output and works in progress, but also reflections on the learner's strengths and progress towards the learning goals. Portfolio assessment is an example of authentic and non-traditional assessment of learning. It can measure a variety of skills that is not measurable by single testing of traditional assessment. Portfolio develops awareness of one's own learning. Portfolio assessment can address the heterogeneous groupings of the learners because part of the objectives is to exhibit the unique and personal effort development, and growth of each learner. Its purpose. It guides the learner and the teachers to set and establish goals aligned in the learning objectives. It also ensures the active participation of a learner and helps the learner to examine his or her growth and development over time. It also provides chances for self-evaluation and reflection. It enhances the student's learning and current achievement and showcases documents, development, and growth in more contextualized approach. It also evaluates teaching effectiveness, reinforces hands-on and concrete experience. So there are types of learning portfolios. First is the documentary portfolio. It involves a collection of work over time, showing the growth and improvement reflecting the student's learning and identified outcome. It is also called the growth portfolio. Second one, the process portfolio. This demonstrates all facets of phases of the learning process. Hence, the arrangement is based on the learner's stages of metacognitive processing. Third one, showcase portfolio. This portfolio contains reflective journals, think logs, and other relayed pieces of evidences. Fourth, evaluation portfolio. This includes some work that was previously submitted. The fifth, class portfolio. This contains a student grade and evaluative assessment of the student by the teacher. And lastly, ideal portfolio. This contains all the work a student has completed. Remember, in deciding the type of portfolio, the teacher needs to consider the level of the course, the age of the student, and the portfolio that will be used and evaluates.